The Baak, water's malevolence. The waters of Assam have always held secrets. Dark, monstrous secrets that ripple beneath the calm surface of rivers, lakes, and swamps. Fishermen tell tales of a presence, a beast that lurks in the depths. They call it the Baak, a name spoken only in whispers, for to speak it aloud is to invite its hunger. Yet the Baak is not alone, for where the water feeds, other horrors follow. Monsoon had come early that year, flooding the riverbanks and drowning fields of rice. Yet it was not the rain that drove the villagers away from Bordubi. It was the disappearances. One by one, children and travelers had vanished near the river's edge, their bodies turning up days later, swollen and disfigured. Their faces twisted in terror, their eyes gouged out. Mothers wept as elders spoke of the Baak, the water demon. Few believed them. Most assumed it was the work of predators or criminals. But when the village headman's son was found floating in the river, his limbs broken and his mouth stretched open unnaturally wide, doubt turned into terror. The villagers did not speak of another evil that had been stalking the night. A twisted creature known as the vengeful spirit of an old woman who died, betrayed, and abandoned. She wanders the forests with her emaciated frame, her eyes burning with hatred. Her voice echoes through the trees, calling out to travelers with a child's wail, luring them into darkness. No one dared go near the water anymore. Boats lay rotting on the shore. Fields lay untended. The village slowly starved itself rather than risk the Baak's wrath. Ranjan had heard the legends. A journalist chasing stories of the supernatural for his podcast, he arrived in Bordubi with a determination forged by skepticism and a hunger for the truth. The villagers warned him to leave. They told him about the Baak's insatiable hunger, how it could mimic voices, how it lured its victims with the cries of loved ones. They whispered of the Baak-angered spirit stalking the woods and the horrifying Jokini, a demon-like woman who hunted men with her beauty before devouring them whole. He began his investigation by the riverbanks at night, armed with nothing but a flashlight and his recorder. The air was thick with humidity and decay, and the soft lapping of water was the only sound. That was when he heard it.
"Help me, please!"
A woman's voice. Broken, desperate, familiar. Ranjan's heart lurched. It was the voice of his dead mother, the exact tone she used when she was suffering on her deathbed. His breath hitched, his legs trembling. It had to be a trick. But what if it wasn't? Against his better judgment, he stumbled forward, his feet sinking into the muddy banks. The voice grew louder, more pleading. He moved closer to the water, the flashlight trembling in his hand. Then, he saw her. A gaunt, skeletal figure standing knee-deep in the water. Her hair floated around her like tendrils of shadow. Her mouth stretched far too wide, a grotesque smile filled with needle-like teeth. The last thing he remembered was the feeling of icy claws dragging him under. When Ranjan awoke, he was inside a decrepit hut at the edge of the village. An old man named Hari had found him half-drowned, unconscious on the riverbank. His body was freezing, his skin pale and slick with muddy water. "You are lucky," Hari whispered. "Most who meet the Baak do not come back, but the Baak's hunger is not its only curse." Ranjan's voice was hoarse. What was that?" "The Baak," Hari replied, his eyes hollow. "She is restless, prowling the woods for vengeance. And then there's the Jokini, a creature with a beauty so twisted it drives men mad before she consumes them." Ranjan shuddered, the memory of his mother's voice still echoing in his mind. He knew he had to leave Bordubi, but something kept him rooted to the spot. His curiosity, or perhaps his madness. What do they want? Hari stared into the darkness. To feed, to grow stronger, and now they've marked you. Ranjan had made up his mind to leave the village. But that night, the air was thick with whispers. Echoes of the Baak's cold hunger, the wailing cries, and the Yokini's laughter. He dreamt of twisted faces and blood-soaked claws, of trees writhing like serpents and water that pulled him down into endless darkness. He woke to find the village in chaos. Children had gone missing again. A woman's body was found half submerged in the river, her face locked in a rictus of fear. The Baak was growing bolder. It echoed across the village like a curse. Ranjan tried to leave Bordubi. He packed his things and fled into the forest. But the horrors followed him. He could hear the Jokini's voice, soft and inviting, calling him by name. The air itself felt heavy with malice. The final entry in his recorder was a shaky, breathless plea.
I can hear her. My mother. She's out there, calling to me. I know it's the Baak, but what if it's not? What if she needs me? Oh God, I can't.
Silence. Days later, the villagers found the recorder by the riverbank, half buried in mud. No one dared touch it. No one dared speak of Ranjan again. But on some nights, if one listens closely, they say you can still hear his voice, calling for help from the depths of the water or perhaps from something far worse.